I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching 86, Season 1, Episode 22. Is everyone dead?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe not Lena. I think Lena's
Oh,
alive.
Lena
Lena's
saved
alive.
us.
But everyone else.
Helped save us. We could not have done it without Lena.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm confident in saying.
Frederica and Lena double teamed that battle to a great extent. They both did an amazing job.
The two I'm worried about most are Anju and Raiden.
In terms of actually being dead?
Yeah.
That's fair. That makes sense. I feel like I have less evidence for Theo being dead, or less, maybe evidence that felt confirming enough for my heart that doesn't want to believe that it's true.
Like the shot at Karena.
I feel like the shot at Karena still wasn't as strong as what it was for Anju and Raiden.
I agree with that, yeah.
Anju whispered something that we don't get to know what it was. I don't know, but Karena did get Shin's acknowledgement. Raiden definitely is maybe top, of the ladder of likelihood of death.
Yeah.
He's up there. He's the top.
I want them all to be able to reunite with Lena. Not even reunite.
Just
I want them all to meet Lena in person.
Honestly, that's a reason to keep Theo alive. Because he drew the picture of her.
It's like the epitome of having a friend your entire life on Discord or on Xbox or a video game or whatever, and then actually getting to meet them in person for the first time. It's the best version of that.
It's a beautiful experience, honestly.
But nothing as beautiful as this potentially could be, and I'm ready for it.
I am also ready.
Sweet.
Oh, we're just getting the opening right away.
That's a good sign.
We're in for some non-stop fun. That's what it means.
Or despair.
Both? Can't you have both?
Fun
Can't you
and
have
despair?
fun while you despair?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
Can you have fun watching despair?
I mean,
if in terms of watching a series with despair, yeah.
I mean, I guess we can. Humans like watching horror. They like watching tragedies.
Please. 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 You know what would make me happy, 86. Please. Self-destruction. Oh my God.
It's all leading up to the self-destruct.
Where is your knight? One shot. The last shot. Oh my God!
What the fuck? Together. Why are you still alive?
Oh my God!
Oh.
Shin. ありがとう。お前には何もない。ありがとうございます。シン、ありがとう。最後に呼ぶべき相手さえ生きているための理由。ありがとう。シン。モルフォを撃つためだけに生かされていただけじゃないか。シン、それならもうありがとう。どこにもいらないが。
Only alive to kill the Morpho.
生きていていい理由なんて
No reason now.
Oh.
いや、やっぱり時々でいいから思い出してほしいから。お前が自由に生きて、 幸せになってその途中でさ、時々さ。
チユ、幸せ？勝手なことを言うな。俺を一人きりにして。どうして誰も彼も俺一人置いて先に死んで。君は死に場所を求めて戦っていただけだ。そんな馬鹿げた旅路に彼らを連れ回
Just
して。
looking for a place to die.
ありがとう。
心が冷え切ってしまったから仲間たちと交わした情が熱うて痛いのじゃ。
抱えきれないほど辛い。それならしばらく預かってあげるから。
少しは私たちに頼ってよ。
It's like he's not allowed to even reach
お
out
前
to
一
them.
人だけ。待って待って。
Tapping where the parade was.
Fun.
「終わりのつもりだったのだろう。モルフォを撃って終われると思ったのだろう。もうそれなのに俺一人だ
Now
け
it's me
忘れないで
again.
いてくれますか。撃ってくれ俺を。待ち焦がれていたこの時を。こちらはギアード連邦西方方面軍第177機構師団所属機です。防衛線維持のためレギオンの排除を実施しました。一緒に来ますか。数名程度の人員であれば本体も保護できるかと思いますが。
いえ。
戦う。何のために。死に急いででもいるのですか。それならいっそ戦わなければよかったでしょうに。
大丈夫です。
なんかあったらとっとと逃げろよ女王陛下。生身で戦場にいられても邪魔なんだからな。
いいえ、それに何かあるとは限りませんから。たとえ力及ばなかったとしても諦めて膝を折るような無様はしない。命尽き果てるその最後の瞬間まで投げ出すことなく戦い抜く。そう言って生き抜いた人たちがいて、同じように荒れると彼らは私を信じてくれました。私は生き抜いた彼らに追いつくために彼らを連れてその先まで進むために戦うんです。私は旧共和国防衛部隊指揮官ブラディレーナ・ミリーゼ隊員。私はこの決して逃げません。
その彼らはとうに死んだ人間でしょう。
忘れないでと 言われましたから。生き残ってほしいと願ってくれたから、いつか会えたらと言葉を残
That
して
they
くれ
wanted
た
to
から
see me again.
また戦えるその人がいてくれたから、私はこうして生きていられる。
Wanna be who they thought.
だから答えたい。せめてその行き着いた先にたどり着きたい。生き切った彼らの今度こそ彼らと一緒に戦いたいから。彼らをこの戦場の向こうに連れて行きたいから。あなたもあなたもそうでしょ。今そこにいる。そのことをもっと誇ってもいいのだと思います。
少佐、少佐、俺は
グランミュールのやつから連絡が来た。こっちに向かってるレギオンが嫌がる。
前方の方、あなたも一緒に退避を。
ってそうか。そういや見たはずねえのか。
ご苦労だった。注意。
はい、
無事なの？脳前注意。
生きていたんですね。
おかげさまで。これでも心配してたのよ。
すみません。
ま、今回は他の子が報告してくれたからよかったけど。
Wait, is that?
生き残ったやつが。
シン
シン、お前な、そういうことは真っ先に確認しろ。
ほんとハータクレナが大泣きして大変だったよ。シンにだけ繋がらないってさ。
I'm not crying!
挟んでくださいよ。
そうまあちっとは心配したぞ。てなわけでまさかの戦隊全員無事だ。誰も先には行ってねえよ。
お疲れ様、シン。
まだいたんですか、エルンスト。
可愛いうちの子を信頼するだけなのにその言い方何？こういう時こそいなくてどうするのさ。旧サンマグノリア共和国の救援作戦を実施する。無人機が共和国内の無線を傍受し、3国の合議で決定した。仮に第2のモルフォが建造された場合、防衛施設で囲まれた共和国内に陣取られると深刻な脅威となり得るし、生き残りがいると認識していな
That
が
there
ら
were
見捨てるのは
survivors and leave
人
them
道
to
に反す
die.
るからね。
Ernst is the best
連
of
邦
us.
にとっては同胞。君たちと同じ86の救出作戦でもあるから、迫害者のために戦いたくないというなら本体進出を待って構想させるけど。
いえ、そのまま残ります。共和国を助けたいとは思いませんが、死なせたくない人間も中にはいますから。そう、先ほど接触した共和国軍の処遇は。
レギオン遭遇時は護衛のヘリが対応するから。
了解。
それとフレデリカ、帰ったらとっちめてやるから覚悟しなさい。
パートナーにでも
I was wondering why she hasn't chimed in.
頼むね、お兄ちゃん。
別にもう人質の必要はないんだけど。
He doesn't need a hostage anymore. That line is
よく無事だっ
heavy.
たな。
キリが守ってくれたのじゃ。
Pushed her away? He pushed her away! He's holding her like in the memory.
じゃがすまない。預かった拳銃。
ああ、もういい。結局戦場に戻る言い訳でしか
Excuse
な
to
か
go
った。
back.
今も抱えてやって、一人たりとも投げ出さずに向き合ってやりながら、お人よしの死神が らぬでよかったのかの。あの者がそなたの共和国での指揮官なのであろう。
覗き見か。
あの者が名乗ったとそなたと来たら
You were so surprised!
っておったでの。なんと関わりのあるものなのかと見たのじゃが。会うてきておってよかったの。けなげにそなたを慕ってこれまで進んできたその相手にそなた名乗らずでよかったのかの。
まだ名乗れない。追いつくと言われたから追いついてたどり着いた先がこんなありさ
In
ま
this
じゃあんまり
state,
だろう。
oh!
進んだ先で彼女が見るべき景色はこんな戦場なんかじゃない。
なんというかそなたもおの子じゃの。そなた今答えを出しておるぞ。あの者が進むにはそれにふさわしい景色がある。あの者の行く道はそなたが先にたどった道じゃ。ではそなたの目指すべき先はどこじゃ。
A reason to
その答えを
live!
今そなたは自ら出していたであろう。
A reason to keep moving forward. Oh my god.
「報告書」
So how'd she look?
よく見えなかった。
Yeah, right.
シンだって気づかなかったんだよね、少佐。
ああ、
なんで泣いてんの。
驚くだろうな。俺たちが生きてるって知ったら。
会ってみたかったわね、一度くらい。
ハンドラーは
Okay, that was 86, season 1, episode 22.
So I would say that at this moment in time, I feel like we've already been told what the future holds in terms of the battle with the story. I feel like there isn't much to theorize about that anymore, and that is that we haven't defeated the Legion, but now everyone is going to be working together to protect survivors and make sure they can never create another Morpho. You know, like there's still a battle to be had, but everyone being linked up now, I feel like there's not much more I can theorize about in terms of what's gonna happen next. Like, I feel like we've been given what that path is. That line about, like, Shin creating a path and Lena basically walking in it. We know what that path is now.
I don't think I said anything the entire episode.
This episode, I would say I don't have too much to talk about except compliments, like except like moments that I liked, dialogue that I liked.
So good.
Like,
and
that's okay.
I am so glad they didn't let the lid open all the way and Shin to see Lena, because I don't think I could have lived. I think I would have died. I don't think I would have been able to
like
handle
passed
it.
out right here. I think, yeah. But when they faked me out there, even though I'm glad that they did in hindsight, in that moment I was like, F you! Remove the lid! Get out of there! Run to each other! You know? Like, but it was explained in a way that was very convincing to me. The fact that from Frederica, we are told kind of the why of, like, Shin's reasoning for why, you know, maybe he's happy the lid didn't open all the way and why he didn't give his name there. He's stubborn with it and such a boy, as Frederica would say. But he now knows that someone is following him, you know, someone is existing to meet up with him, and he wants that meeting up together and catching up to be not on a battlefield. And I think that that is beautiful because what it says is that in that moment when he says that, our character Shin is announcing that he believes he has a future off of the battlefield and something to live for that isn't on the battlefield and dying on the battlefield. The profoundness of such a stubborn thing for him to say, like not giving her name, him not giving her his name there.
She had a reaction, like, immediately before Shin caught himself and stopped talking in that voice, that I was like, does she know? Why wouldn't she pry further? But the next thing Shin says is like, they'd already be dead, right? Like, which is like the only thing that you could say to get her to be defensive of them and to get her on that way. They told me not to forget. Like, it is perfect. I like Lena is such a fucking badass.
Right.
Like she stood on shit, bro. Like I'm pretty sure a couple times, like, she stood on the black bars solidifying the aspect ratio and broke them and made them white and opaque. She's fucking incredible. And the best part is that we with the 86 and not even with them, separately, because we've gotten to see what they didn't. They get to see the result of how her voice changed. We watched her turn into it. We watched her voice change.
Right,
we watched her step into the rain. We watched it all. And to have the characters who haven't seen her for all of that time, all of that change that happens as the catalyst of them leaving to then her movement, like, even more so. Like, she was already a force at the beginning of this story, but it's almost like her force was given a direction upon those episodes of them leaving. And Theo being like, her voice sounded bolder, you know, that is his reaction to hearing her. And I just wanted to quickly talk on the idea of, like, does Lena realize here that this is Shin? Like, obviously, it's a good question to pose. Like, to some extent, you could talk about people having a sense within themselves, an intuition feeling. The fact that he says major, she does have somewhat of a little bit of a reaction to hearing that. But I think at the end of the day, whether she does realize it's him or not, she has a respect for him. And if he doesn't want to open up and say his name there, and he's on the battlefield, you know, in business mode fighting, she is not going to interfere with that. She's not going to interject her own will of desire of seeing his face when she still knows that there is war to be fought. She gives a little wave, you know, as they're leaving. And I think that that's super cool, because if I was in her position, I'd be like, open up, let me see your face. You know, if I did think that it was him, like, I would probably not be as chill and respectful as I view she would be if she did know it was him. But who knows if she really did know or not. I kind of just had to, like, check myself a bit, because I don't know how this show has made me feel this way, but I wanted to go back to see their parting words, Lena and Spearhead, when Shin said we're going on ahead. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why does it feel like I had 15 to 20 episodes before they parted with each other? It was on episode 9, and it felt like it's just a bit surreal to me. It's
well, we know that it's possible to build very strong connection with between characters, like, interpersonally, by, I mean, a lot of anime nowadays have 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And so you gotta, especially just, like, even if, like, for a season, you gotta build connection really convincingly early on. And I feel like it's a giant test to writing ability if you can build a convincing connection. And as Frederica says in this episode, what she views as obviously some deep connection y'all have.
Yeah.
We were convinced of that really early on, and I would say that's a compliment to the writing. That there is like 23 episodes of this show, and on episode 9 is the departure, but we already knew how connected these characters were, and we felt it so strongly that that's why if we hadn't, it would not have worked to have them be separate parallel storylines where we don't see Lena.
Yeah.
We barely saw Lena past this point, but it didn't feel that way. That's testament to the writing.
Yeah.
That we knew wholeheartedly the whole time. It's almost like we could imagine what she was doing in the background.
Yeah. And because it was built up from literally nothing to our confidence within her that she got from Spearhead.
You're right. They gave us a confidence in her goals, her personality, her character, her determination, and her connection to Shin. And her connection to Spearhead. That the fact that his words to her about, you know, catching up someday and not forgetting. I love that they're like, we never said that to her. You know, where'd she get that from? Everyone's so cheeky about it. And we've already had lines like prior of Shin being like, oh, Frederica reminds me of myself. And Raiden being like, yep, that's who she reminds you of. Okay, buddy.
There's another episode before we're done.
I know, and I hate that I'm not, like, taking over the mouse right now from your control and clicking to watch it.
We see them meet Shirley.
Surely.
You're
I
not
say that
confident?
with so little confidence.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I feel like they don't have to show that to us.
I completely agree that they don't have to, just because of
And it still be
how
like,
good it is.
It makes sense and be beautiful.
But
because of this moment.
But there's
they had
another
this
episode.
Yeah.
And it was called what? Handler 1? Didn't it say what it was at the end?
Yeah, it's called Handler 1. This episode's called Shin. And the next episode's called Handler 1. I feel, honestly, what that might mean, if it's not them meeting, or maybe it is towards the end of the final episode, I feel like what it could be is how Lena gets to this point where she ends up front close. Like, we see what has been the time where we last saw her to now.
Or we switch perspectives and see what she is going through right now to get to that end, and then gets to see a long hallway with Spearhead at the end.
Her reaction, though, if I did feel strongly that there was a moment where she might have realized it could have been Shin in there, or at least like a little feeling of hope that it was, seeing her point of view of the Morpho attack and this conversation, and rehearing her lines of dialogue, basically yelling at this person that she doesn't know who's in there, I feel like we could totally be shown that in her POV. Because we have done similar things like that in the series up until episode 9.
I just love, like, it's so perfect because, like, if it wasn't Lena, if it wasn't this character who we saw how passionately they felt, even to whatever it would cost them, you'd almost side with, like, Cyclops of, like, Commander, what the fuck are you doing? We need you right now. You cannot risk your body being unsafe right now. There's enemies still around. But Lena's not going to leave a single fucking person behind if she knows that there's somebody who still has life in them in front of her. Mm-hmm. She has that respect for life that most of the people in San Magnolia didn't.
So in that moment, something else I want to bring up is the idea that right as he's about to open the door, the hatch, he notices that there's more enemies. In the moment when he closes the hatch and is trying to go attack, I think that Shin, prior to this episode, it would not have mattered that there were other helicopters ahead. Like, if Lena hadn't been there, or even just, like, I don't know, their connection wasn't the way that it was, it wouldn't have mattered to him that reinforcements came. He was here to die. He's looking for his graveyard, basically. Yeah. He's looking for his burial spot. He wouldn't have just sat back and been like, oh, it's not working. I can't go help them fight. You know, like he is here, where he's able to just sit back and have a conversation and trust in his comrades, you know?
I'm on Shin's side, by the way, that he didn't see her.
Well, couldn't he have seen her through the...
Doesn't count. It was opening up. He saw everything but her face. He didn't see her.
He could see her through the
Doesn't count.
screen.
Nope.
The screen doesn't count?
Nope.
Because it doesn't feel like real and tangible, maybe?
Yep.
And it doesn't encapsulate all of her
Seeing
beauty?
her through the screen might as well be just hearing her voice back in day one.
Like, she's still not tangible.
Yep. He isn't tangible. He is still in that war mindset, I'm going to die, until that door opens and he gets out of it and cuts that belt
Right.
off.
What does he say? He says that it's because of, like, he's not who he is. He has a line that's something like because of who he is right now, he wouldn't want to see her.
Yeah. And he wouldn't want her to see him where he
yeah.
is right now, with who he is right now.
Mm-hmm. Which is so much... It fills that testament even more of him at the end being like, I want to meet her off the battlefield. Like, that line, like, doesn't want her to see him like he is right now, doesn't need a hostage anymore, to the, I want to meet her off the battlefield. All three of those lines are just Shin giving us again and again tally marks of evidence that there's a change here happening with him, of him not just looking for a place to die anymore.
Kiri holding Frederica to save her.
To push her
was
away
so
from...
fucking good. And in my mind, he had time to save the gun, but didn't, because he knows Shin needs to be alive still.
Mm-hmm. So I think that there were probably people who watched this and were surprised that everyone in Spearhead that was originally alive after they departed is still alive. I think there are probably people that were surprised by that. I was surprised by that, but it's not something I'm lingering with. It's not like I thought that they needed to die there. There's no narrative purpose for them to have actually died, I feel.
It wouldn't...
to move things along.
Because of where Shin is, if you wanted Shin to survive this, they needed to stay alive.
Right. I
they
think
didn't
to
leave him.
Shin, right. They didn't leave him.
Leave him alone. They didn't.
Behind. Right. And for it to be the characters who have all come to a realization that we saw in the last couple episodes where they're like, oh my god, we have asked him of this. Like, what are we doing to support him and his mental health? Like,
Raiden was so fucking on it when he's like, you just assumed we were dead? like what the fuck, bro? Like, how, ye of little faith, king.
And then everyone's chiming in and talking, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, where the fuck is Frederica?
Yeah.
When she was on the battlefield, where is she?
Then she's
like,
just banging on the window.
And then she's like, hey! And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. And then one of the first things she says is something cheeky about, hey, you sounded so surprised.
Do you think they add in Frederica being like, you didn't forget about my power, did you? Like, organically, or like to let people know, like, viewer-wise, if they somehow fucking forgot that she has it, you know? It's so hard to believe that people would forget what, you know?
Yeah, I take it as cheeky.
Yeah, me too.
Because of the fact that what we're talking about here is that everyone knows something that Shin didn't realize beforehand, is that he likes Lena. Or at least, has a draw to her. How
much weight her existence has. Like, it's the same...
It's more than a liking.
It's the same thing as, like, Frederica kind of has to, like, remind Shin of that next step of way of thinking. Like, well, what does this mean? Mm-hmm. Like, Shin has no experience, literally none, in thinking about things this way, that he, not for a second, would be capable of having that, like, what does Lena... Like, he's been solely focused and single-tracked, like, on a mission, and this is what his life is, and this is what it means. That nothing else has been touched.
Mm-hmm. He's been looking for an answer. And here it is, when she says it plain and simple. She's like, look at that girl. She's been following in your path. Like, she's still alive. Like, what are you gonna do now with that information? And the way that he's so almost like enthusiastically or in a relief way grasps on to this new way of thinking, it's almost like finally something was convincing enough for him to tell himself he was allowed to live. It's like he was finally able to trick his own brain here.
Yeah, because like, okay, the only way I can trick my brain is if I am living for somebody else, but in this way, you know?
Baby steps. It's okay.
No, I love this episode so much. I don't think I've ever seen like black top and bottom bars turn into white and opaque like this. It was so interesting.
Which is really interesting
So
to me because in terms of the thumbnails for 86, I had it as a black bar. And then I think that was hard for people to see like a certain number on the screen, or they couldn't tell if they had already watched it or something like that. And then I made it white opaque. It's like I could see the future of this episode.
You can have it.
I'll take
let you,
it.
yeah.
I'll take whatever dubs I can get.
What an episode.
I really liked a line about the fact that other people and their kind words to Shin or support or care, all they felt were like they were burning him because of his like cold heart.
I loved when the Ray piece of scrap fell, like timing wise in this episode. It was perfect. It was perfect. It was perfect. I loved it. I loved 86.
I feel like my mind is spinning trying to theorize what exactly we're gonna get.
I don't
in
care.
the final episode. Well, obviously, I don't care to the extent of like, I need to figure out what it is so that I have expectations that I could then be disappointed about if it's not exactly what I wanted it to be. No, I think whatever it's gonna be is exactly what it needed to be. I mean, up until this point, I've had no qualms with the writing.
I don't care in the sense that it's like I am in a place mentally right now that it felt like I had a good cry, and I don't want to. I'm just happy.
Like last episode was an ugly cry. This episode was like a therapeutic cry, like
Yeah.
a good cry.
Yep.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I think
Thank
so.
you guys for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.